So the post office called and the baby chicks are there, so we're gonna go pick them up. Okay. So I'm gonna leave these in the van while it's heating, and then go start up the kerosene heater to get the room air temperature up to warm. Now today's temperature is about 40 degrees. So it's a little on the cool side. So since these chicks have traveled through the mail, what I'm gonna do is get their body temperature stabilized, make sure I have their concentration, the right number in the brooder before adding water, because what you don't want with temperatures like this is for them to dip themselves in the water, get cold and wet. So I want to make sure I have them set up correctly in the brooder before introducing water. So here is our brooder room. Here is the kerosene heater that I'm going to heat up, and only under supervision in order to get this room air temperature warmed up enough. Okay, so currently in our brooder setup, we have a 150 watt heat lamp to just generate some heat. We also have these non-heat lamp heat elements, and then right here in the middle, we have a sensor push, and that is a temperature gauge, and I'll be able to connect it with a gateway in order to keep an eye on the temperature for these baby chicks. I also have a Wise Cam over here to be able to monitor this to make sure that the heat lamp is okay. Now we're gonna get these chicks in here. Okay, so I'm putting this box of chicks in here. I have another box in the other room that I'm gonna get those chicks situated. So in here, we're gonna put these chicks 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. So we now have 40 chicks, 20 here, 20 here, and you want to make sure that you have enough chicks that they can retain some of their body heat once they get warm. So we're gonna monitor, see how they're doing, and let's get the other ones in place. So we have 90 chicks in here. We ordered 120 chicks, and so they end up sending us 130 chicks, and we had one that was dead on arrival, but that's pretty good considering that they had to travel around. And these chicks are from Cackle Hatchery, and I'm going to monitor them, see how they're acclimating to the temperature, and making sure that they space out pretty well. And then I'll get their feeders and waters situated. And then once I add their water, then I'll dunk their beaks in the water so that they know where it's at. And we'll see how it goes. So some time has gone by and it's 38 degrees in the evening. So to help these chicks, these brooders, to retain some of their heat, what I'm going to do is tape some cardboard over these slots here. I'll keep that side open for ventilation, but that will help kind of retain their heat to get through the cold evening. It's supposed to be 50s and 60s the next 2 days, so that should help out. It actually worked out pretty well. I was able to loosen these wing nuts here and then slide the cardboard back behind. Didn't have to use any tape. But on these side ones, I'll definitely have to use some tape. So I got the cardboard in place, and on the sides, on 3 sides, there's a couple slits here, but that should help retain the heat. Now these were the same style that Tractor Supply had a few years ago, and they got rid of them because their stores were drafty. There are some modifications that you have to do in order to make sure that it generates enough heat. The other thing I did was on the other side, I added some feed, so hopefully they can chew up on that and have that give them some energy throughout the night. I did a real quick check. I put my hand on the baby chicks, and they're warm, so they're doing well. Now to check on the other chicks and give them some food, and then tomorrow I'll give them water. I just, with it being 38 degrees, I don't want them to get wet and cold. So I checked with sensor push, and the sensor right in between the 2 lights is about 70 degrees. So directly under the lights, a lot more. So they're doing pretty good about their spacing. Since my earlier update, I did add this light from the pig stall, and this is a Premier 1 heat lamp. It's wrapped and protected, and it's about as safe as possible for doing a heat lamp. So they're doing pretty good. They're not clumping up too much. Here they're clumping up a little bit, but there's also a heat pad there, and then as they pass through there, there's also some heat there. So they're doing pretty good. Now I'm gonna add some food to give them some energy through the night. So I put some food down in the trough, and some of them are getting curious. The first few days are the most crucial when it comes to baby chicks. And did you know that the reason why they're able to be shipped through the postal service is because they eat the yolk before they hatch, and that will sustain them food and water for 3 days. Now these chicks, they were hatched on Monday, and today is Wednesday. So tomorrow morning I'll give them water once it's warmed up a little bit. I've had a batch where they've all dunked through the water and they've gotten cold, and then I've lost some. So really don't want to do that right now. I've just been making sure that they're staying warm and their spacing is good. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful. In the comments below, mention how your brooder setup is. So I didn't mention this earlier. Typically with this brooder room, I order 120, but then I sell about 30 of them to my neighbor. But since I have the space over there in the other room of 40, I ended up keeping all 120, which actually ended up being 130 baby chicks. So we'll see how they do throughout the night. And then as always, I just monitor it with the Wise Cam just to make sure that everything is as safe as possible. It's really all about minimizing the risk.